Okay, so I wanted to make another video just to give you another perspective on how it looks when you are making knots when you are ventilating. So these are just going to be single knots, but I felt like having a perspective that was kind of like off to the side might be more helpful than the ones that were just like straight on. So I am right-handed, so I'm holding my needle in my dominant hand, which is my right hand, and then I have my loop of hair in my other hand. So I'm using synthetic hair. It is not necessarily my favorite, especially this specific synthetic hair. It is kind of prone to like breaking and being a little bit crazy, but it is the hair that I pulled out of this specific wig that I am trying to like repair the front on. So this is a little bit crazy, a little bit haphazard from all the like other videos and things, but hopefully I'll do a couple knots on here and this will give you a little bit better of a perspective. So again, if you saw my other videos, I don't necessarily hold my needle in the correct way. I didn't really like learn the right way the first time I learned, I guess, and I've just never been able to like break myself of the habit. So please don't have as much tension in your hand and hold it in quite the position that I do. But the first thing you're going to do is hook one of your holes in your lace, and then you're going to hook the hair onto your needle, pull the hair through, and so you don't want to pull it all the way through, just part of the way, and then you pull it back through the little loop that you made, and then you want to release it down. So that's quite a bit of hair. That's not necessarily like if I was really doing this front for real. I wouldn't necessarily want to do that, but just so that you all can see it, it's a lot easier than using just a single hair. And again, I put my needle through the lace, looped some hair onto it, and then you're going to grab that hair back through, pull it through the little loop, and then release it down. And then occasionally you do end up with some weird little like crazy short hairs. Sometimes you can just kind of like get them to go back with everything else. Otherwise that's probably something I'm going to have to go back in and like tweeze out later. But sometimes I just take like a little bit of manipulating by hand. And again, we'll try to kind of like turn this so maybe you can see a little bit better. It's tricky because this isn't the most space in the world to do this. But again, we loop it through, loop through the hole, you scoop it, pull the hair back through that, and then release it back down. So the goal is you really want your knots to be flat. A lot of these knots are super hideous, super ugly, because it's just quick little ugly practice knots so you can see things. But ideally when you're working, you want to keep your needle and like the hair as flat as you can, because the flatter it is, the more likely it is to kind of like lay down flat. And so again, I'm in here. I've got my little loop of hair, then you scoop it back through, tighten it down, and then you release it back down. And then that's how you're going to start making knots. Hopefully this makes a little bit more sense. I think that this is a crazy thing to try to learn entirely online and through videos. I don't have super fancy like cameras and things to kind of show this better than what I am currently doing, but hopefully me trying to talk through it and showing you in a couple different directions is adding a little bit of clarity. Again, I know this isn't like the closest in the world, but just really quick, one more time, single knot. You have your needle through the hole in the lace, you grab a little bit of the hair, pull it through the lace, you pull your hair part of the way through, and then you use the hook to kind of like scoop it, pull it back through that little hole and little knot that you made, tighten it down, and then you just release it forward, and that is how you would create your facial hair and create your fronts and everything else that you might be ventilating with. Hopefully that adds a little bit more clarity to all of this for you.